Federal Trade Commission Act presentation by Alexandra Willard. The Federal Trade Commission Act was signed into law by President Woodrow Wilson in 1914. The original intention of the act was to reevaluate the two current antitrust policies already in place, the Sherman Antitrust Laws and the Clayton Antitrust Act. The focus of the Federal Trade Commission Act, as well as its predecessors, was to protect American consumers from deceptive business methods. However, this act was also intended to ensure competition between businesses. Issues between businesses and consumers arose in the 19th century when America first encountered the rise of big business, which eventually led to a monopoly on certain goods and services. With a monopoly, businesses were able to unfairly control prices, quality, and distribution. Senator John Sherman of Ohio was the first to propose a capitalist competition law in 1890, which was approved by Congress as the Sherman Antitrust Laws. Also, in the late 19th century and early 20th century, there was a push for addressing business conduct in commissions instead of courts. The 1912 presidential election was concentrated on trust busting, or establishing a strict trade commission, and therefore candidate Woodrow Wilson made it well known that he would support consumers when in office. The Federal Trade Commission Act was formulated to address consumers' concerns about big business, which combined and clarified the concepts of both the Sherman Antitrust Laws and the more recent Clayton Antitrust Act. The Federal Trade Commission was established by this act to be the sole enforcer of the act's contents, replacing the Federal Bureau of Corporations. The FTC itself is headed by 13 officers and divided into the Bureau of Consumer Protection, Bureau of Competition, and Bureau of Economics. The duty of the FTC was originally to defend consumers in cases of unfair business. However, the Commission has gained new authority over the years from the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and Seller-Kefauver Act. After the passing of this act, many state governments also decided to take trade regulation a step further by enforcing lemon laws and/or a Deceptive Trade Practices Act. This policy is effective in solving the problem it addresses because it has been able to regulate businesses as well as support American consumers. This was an incremental change because it began with more subtle laws that eventually grew and formed into their own federal commission. At a time like today, when people exercise their ability to call out unjust businesses frequently, it is hard to imagine a time when the government did not defend consumers. It is also evident that a lot of powerful figures in government must speak out about an issue before it can be addressed with a policy change. This issue fits in with larger policy concerns currently because some question if it is appropriate business behavior to do things not specified previously, like outsource jobs to other countries or not use eco-friendly practices when possible. Thank you for listening to my presentation on the Federal Trade Commission Act. This is my Works Cited page that includes all websites used for information. For links for the images used in this presentation, look on the slides where the images are used.